Great catching up with my next guest, who's the talk of the town this past weekend, getting a first-round submission victory over Devin Clark at UFC Fight Night on November 28th. It is Anthony Lionheart-Smith back here on the program. Anthony, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Just enjoying my time here at home.
I bet. Congratulations on the win. Really impressive performance. Before we talk about the performance itself, obviously Curtis Blades is out of the fight with COVID-19. I know they came to you and they're like, hey, we need you to do the main event. And I saw your post-fight interview. You said, you wanted it 5 rounds. Take me through that process of when you found out that Curtis was off the card, and how was it trying to negotiate to be in the main event as a 5-round fight?
It was honestly really easy. I woke up and had some messages that just said that there was people just asking. They must have seen it on Twitter that Curtis was out or someone was out, and they were just asking if I was going to be the main event, and I didn't know, but I still had weight to cut, so I just got on doing what I was doing. I figured that if they needed me, they would get a hold of me. Eventually they did, and it was fairly easy. I wanted 5 rounds. I was pretty adamant about that. Other than that, I was pretty open. It's a fairly easy process for me.
So when did you actually find out that it was a 5-round fight? Because I think we were kind of just hearing about this as it was going. I think it was Friday morning we had heard that Curtis was out. Like, when did you get confirmation? Like, how close to the ceremonial weigh-ins or whatever in terms of finding out?
I was like 10:30.
Okay.
I was still cutting weight. When I text Dana and asked him to keep it at 5 rounds, and he texted me back and said, okay.
There you go. Easy as that. Was there more pressure heading into this fight in the sense that, 2 losses this year, like, was that on the back of your mind, or did you just treat it like any other fight?
No, it was absolutely in the back of my mind. I purposely put that pressure on myself and most of the time, other than, the Jon Jones fight, I always show up when there's a lot of pressure on me. I've never had any issues folding under pressure. So, I did that on purpose by even just by texting Dana and asking for 5 rounds. Like, you don't text the boss and tell him that you promise that you won't regret it and then not show up. There's a lot of pressure that goes into that just by itself. I was kind of handcuffing myself to making sure I didn't have a choice but to have an exciting fight. So I think I do well with pressure, and I do put a lot of pressure on myself for sure.
Well, again, you put it as a 5-round fight. It paid off. Didn't even need to go 2 rounds. It didn't matter. You got the first round finish. I know you expected to win, but were you expecting a finish that quickly? Because I was looking here. Devin Clark hasn't been submitted since October of 2017 against Jan Blachowicz, so he's a very tough guy to finish.
I knew that it was possible. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I thought it would take me a round to get him kind of settled in and slow him down a little bit, but I wasn't surprised at how I don't want to disrespect him, but it was easier than I thought it was going to be. I think I overrated his grappling abilities a little bit. He made some fundamental mistakes that I wasn't expecting him to make.
Okay. Were you expecting him to come out like a bull out of a china shop? Like, he rushed you immediately when the fight started?
Oh yeah, I was ready for that. Yeah,
okay.
I knew that was coming, but that's less about his aggressiveness and more about his how uncomfortable he is in there. Devin's not the kind of guy that can kind of stand there in front of you and really, I don't know, he's not going to stand there and pick people apart. He's not going to, he's not going to be in there playing a chess match. That is not his game. He kind of has to fight like that because he is so uncomfortable at distance.
How'd you celebrate after the fight? I know it's COVID. You can't really go out and celebrate too much, but I imagine just, probably back with the team, maybe having a drink or two.
Yeah, we had a couple beers at the hotel, and Mark had his famous glass of whiskey, and we just sat around, talked about the fight. We watched it back, and then just BS'd, just enjoyed each other's company.
How about social media? I know the talk of Saturday was Mike Tyson, obviously. I mean, that overshadowed everything, including the news, but I saw you getting a lot of love on there.
Yeah, I have seen that, man. It's cool, but at the same time, the day before people were trashing me and that Devin Clark was going to beat the shit out of me.
Right.
So now I'm the hot chick at the bar again, but I don't let that stuff get to my head. I don't pay attention to it when they're saying bad things, and it is nice when people are giving you some love, but at the same time, like if you look back at a lot of those people's social media accounts, a lot of them were saying different things the day before.
Yeah, no, very, very recency bias is a big thing in MMA. It's all about your last fight, not about the overall resume. It's like when people, like, mentioned your card, people calling Curtis Blades a boring fighter. It's like the guy has 10 TKO victories. Like, I don't know how you can be that boring. Like people make it out. So I think, people sort of buy into that too much. Was there anyone that reached out to you on social media that maybe you weren't expecting that said, hey, good job, anything like that? Or just usual cast of characters?
Just the usual, the usual people. Actually, Theo Vaughn has been reaching out.
Oh, awesome! I love his podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Theo's podcast is really, really cool, man. It's just, the little bit that we've been chit chatting back and forth, over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so. Seems like Theo's very much who he is on his podcast, man. He's just a genuine good dude. And I met him here in Omaha one time when he did did a show here. So. Yeah, man, it's, a lot of love for sure.
I have a quick Theo Vaughn story I'll mention. So I remember Theo back when he was on The Real World or The Challenge back in the day. I used to watch him on there. So I was super excited. I was going to go see him live in LA. So I did. I went with my wife. We were in California already. We were doing whatever. We saw him at the Comedy Store. He absolutely tanked because I found out later through a podcast that I listened to on Joey Diaz's podcast that he had done mushrooms before he went on stage. So he wasn't making any sense. My wife's like, we came here for this guy and he was terrible. So that's my Theo Vaughn story. So
that is funny.
Yeah. But he's a great guy. I love his content. It was just like, it was an off night, but
yeah, his content is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's really funny there. Speaking of things, you got the bonus. What are you going to be doing with the money?
I don't really have any plans for it.
Upgrade the RV? Really... Going to do anything that way, or?
No, I think the RV's good. I might put some new wheels and tires on my truck, maybe just to treat myself. But other than that, just sit on it like I normally do.
So I talked about obviously getting a lot of love on social media. I saw a lot of fighters calling you out as well. My latest tally is Paul Craig, Jimmy Crute wants to fight you 5 rounds, and now Jimi Manuwa, who I did see you reply to, but I thought that was kind of lame because he's
what is Jimi Manuwa thinking?
I know. I think he's trying to steal your spotlight there, Lionheart.
I know. What are you doing, dude? Like Jimmy Crute, crazy respectful kid, man. Like I'm a fan of his. I like his style. It's crazy heavy-handed. I think I commented on, I think I tweeted him or something like that after his last fight, like, big fan. And maybe he'd asked for a fight or something like that, but I think I had one coming up already. I was already booked or whatever. But both times we kind of went back and forth on Twitter. Super respectful. Really like his style. He's going to be around for a long time. That's for sure. That kid's good. Kind of same with Paul Craig. Fairly respectful call out. The last time after he fought Shogun. And even now, gave me props on my submission, and then, asked me if I was, if I wanted to go to Fight Island or something like that. But then Jimi Manuwa, I don't know, every time that he says something about me, it just sounds so cringy. Like he's looked awful in his last 4 fights and then retired because he wasn't able to stay conscious the entire time he was fighting. Kept falling asleep on the job. So I don't know what the hell that's about. And if he wants to come back, man, that would be silly for me to even entertain that at this point. But I got some teammates that are at 205 too that would love
Dustin Jacoby. I saw you threw his name in the hat. That's awesome.
Yeah. Could you imagine what Dustin Jacoby would do to Jimi Manuwa? It would be ugly. Dustin Jacoby honestly, I think Dustin would do Jimi Manuwa way more dirty than I would.
Yeah, because of the style matchup. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
with how good he is. Out of those names, like, is there sort of an ideal opponent for you next? And also, when are you looking to return? Because I imagine you got to enjoy some time with the family right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna enjoy some time with the family. I don't know, March maybe. March seems like a good timeline to me. Get through the holidays and just enjoy myself a little bit without having like a fight looming over my head. Because once you sign a contract, it could be 6 months from now. It's always going to be in the back of your head. It consumes you,
like day in and day out, because you're thinking of the fight, right? So
yeah, always. It doesn't matter how far away it is. It could be next year, and you're going to be thinking about it every day. So, I'm kind of unconcerned with the opponent, but I do find myself like having more fun thinking about the Paul Craig matchup, just because he's really grappling heavy, and I can't remember the last time I fought like a really good, like I fought lots of good wrestlers. So like, it's not like I haven't fought any grapplers, but not any like pure jiu-jitsu guys.
Right.
I haven't fought like a pure, submission grappler.
Like you never fought Maya at middleweight, for example, right? Like that's one.
Right. No. Yeah. I think the last guy I fought was a pure grappler, was probably Haja Gracie.
Yeah.
That was in 2011 or something like that.
That was Strikeforce, right? Was that fight?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that would suck for a lot of people. So that wasn't even necessarily very much fun. But I don't know. I just feel like that would be a fun matchup. You're not gonna. I don't know. I feel like my brain would enjoy that one a little more than some of the other ones.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you on that. Do you think Jon Jones comes back to light heavyweight with Izzy moving up, or do you think he's going straight to heavyweight because he is bulking up?
No. I don't think Jon is. He's not the type of guy to let anyone dictate what he's going to do. So just because Izzy came up and is going to tell Jon he wants him to come get his belt, Jon won't. That's just how Jon is. Like Jon will. It always seems like Jon will do the complete opposite of what anyone is trying to make him do. If Izzy doesn't come up, or if he comes up and loses and then goes back down, then I could see Jon coming back down. But he's not going to come down for Izzy.
Okay, like the assessment. And last question, most important one: what's the plan for the holidays? You getting? I know we got COVID going on. Probably can't see too much family, but everything got some plans for Nebraska.
So the last couple of years we've been traveling every Christmas. Me and Michaela both have pretty small families, so and especially this year with the COVID thing, we're just gonna last year we went somewhere else, the year before we went somewhere else. So this year we're going to South Dakota. We're gonna go skiing.
Nice.
Up in the Black Hills. We got a big Airbnb and gonna spend Christmas up there.
Good stuff, man. Anthony, thanks so much for the time. And again, congratulations on the win. What a statement that was. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, I'll give you the last word.
On Twitter and Instagram at Lionheart A. Smith. Both the Twitter and Instagram handles are the same. And just appreciate the fans, man, the people that stick with me, and any new fans that might be coming on now. Appreciate you guys as well.